Hi, good morning. Welcome to House of Light in south of Spain. I'm Ceri and I'm a yoga teacher here at House of Light and also co-founder. So maybe if you're joining us for the first time, then welcome. Thanks for joining. If you've been watching other live streams that we've done, then there's lots of other stuff on our YouTube channel. You can also visit our Facebook page. You can see myself doing other yoga classes or cookery, or my husband talking about his learning love work. So please do visit our pages and have a look at what else has been going on. So today, the focus actually, it was about cold wintry mornings, but I'm looking out of the window now and here it's beautiful sunshine, but it's still relevant. It's still that time of year when, you know, the weather's closing in and everyone's going a little bit more introspective and a little bit more inward, and we need to be doing kind of more warming focus practices. So that's what we'll be looking at this morning, is when the mornings are a bit colder and a bit darker and it's a bit more challenging to step onto the mat and start to move your body. So this is a really short and gentle flow. I won't actually even be standing up, it's all going to be seated and flows from seated positions. So rather than creating heat and working towards a more dynamic flow to really wake the body up, we'll be using the flow this morning just to respond to what the body needs when you wake up feeling a little bit cold and maybe a little bit stiff. So we're going to be using the asanas to gently warm the body and just ease ourselves into movement. So we'll be starting in a seated position. If you just come to a comfortable cross-legged position. And also, when the body's a little bit cold, the mindset often kind of follows in that vein. So we're going to be starting this morning's practice with a mudra, with one of the hand positions, to cultivate positivity. So if the mind is also a little bit sluggish and a little bit resistant to getting started for the day, then this mudra can help to clear some energy in that respect. So it's very simply gently connecting the tip of the middle finger and the thumb, and keeping the other fingers, so the index finger, the ring finger and the little finger extended. And just placing the backs of the hands onto the knees. If you feel any discomfort in your hips or your knees, you can always bring a block or a blanket underneath the hips just to raise them a little bit, bring them a little bit higher than the knees. So to start today's practice then, creating this mudra, Akash mudra, and just starting to connect with the breath. Starting to slow down the pace of the breath. Just starting with some deep yogic breathing. So really soften the shoulders, soften the belly, soften the facial muscles. And Akash translates to sky. So we're basically connecting the inner space to the vast outer space, to the outer cosmos, creating more space within ourselves. In this way, this mudra serves to dissolve anger and negativity, and therefore making more space internally for positive thoughts and positive emotions. So slow, steady breath, just allowing yourself to really settle into the frame of the body, scanning through the body, especially if this is a morning practice for you, just identifying areas in the body that might need a little more attention in this moment. Allowing your internal organs to soften and drop down into the pelvic girdle, just allowing the heart to settle into centre. Long, slow, steady breaths just to calm the mind and the nervous system. Then gently blinking open the eyes, keeping the gaze down past the cheeks towards the ground. Releasing the mudra from the hands and just placing the palms now onto the knees or the thighs. With your next exhalation, lowering the right ear to the right shoulder. Pausing here for a deep inhalation, maybe lowering the left shoulder away from the left ear to deepen the stretch. And as you exhale, rolling chin to chest, left ear, left shoulder. Pausing here for a moment, dropping that right shoulder down away from the right ear. And as you inhale, gazing up towards the ceiling, and then completing the circle. Exhale, chin to chest, left ear, left shoulder. Inhale to gaze up. One more circle. If these are your first movements of the day, then just really taking time to listen to the body, pausing and reversing the direction, listening to any noises, connecting to any sensations, moving slowly and mindfully, giving the body time to wake up. And then in centre, pausing and bringing the head back to a neutral position. Bringing tented fingertips either side of the hips, and on the next inhalation, lifting the left arm up. As you exhale, start to creep the right fingertips away from the body, really firmly rooting the left sit bone down towards the ground. Depending on how much flexibility you feel like you have in your spine at this moment, option to bring the right elbow down to the ground, maybe even rotating the belly and the chest skyward so you can gaze under the left armpit. Really take the breath into the space that you create in the body. As you exhale, sweeping the left arm forwards, bringing the fingertips to the ground, allowing the right fingertips to follow, tracing a semicircle in front of you, and changing sides. So just easing into the pose, you might want to start with the arms straight and just allow the breath to gently encourage the body to open and stretch. That optional gaze underneath the right armpit this time. And then sweeping the right arm forwards first and followed by the left fingertips. Bringing the hands into centre and fairly close to the shins. We're going to imagine that there's a large beach ball in front of the body and that you're just laying the body over that beach ball. So rounding the back, lowering the chin to the chest. Roll the inner elbows up towards the sky, so we're moving the shoulder blades away from one another, protraction in the shoulder blades. Taking some deep breaths into the space at the back of the heart. And then lowering the palms down to the ground. Now going to send the heart forwards, really open the heart space, smile, open the collarbones, lengthen the spine, before we start to creep the hands forwards, seeing if there's any opportunity to stretch more deeply into the hips. Again, keep rooting the sit bones firmly down against the mat. And on the next inhalation, walking the hands back towards the body, placing the palms onto the thighs and just circling the shoulders open. So circling them in a backwards motion. Just loosening and warming into any pockets of tension. So for me in the mornings, it's really about waking up the spine and the hips, but you will have your own little special areas of the body that you know need to be warmed and eased into more gently. So really listening to the body. So now, just coming to roll onto the back, planting the soles of the feet to the ground, keeping the knees bent, and crossing the right ankle on top of the left knee, keeping the right foot deeply flexed to protect the right knee joint, and then interlace the fingers either at the back of the left thigh or in front of the right shin, of the left shin, and gently drawing the left leg towards the body to increase the stretch on the right hip. Always inviting the breath into the places where you feel the deepest sensation. So really allowing the breath to wash around the right hip joint in this pose. Taking anywhere between 3 to 5 deep cycles of breath and then releasing the pose. Uncrossing the legs and changing sides, so crossing the left ankle on top of the right knee, interlacing the fingers behind the right thigh or in front of the right shin, and gently drawing that thigh towards the body, keeping the left foot deeply flexed. Now just lowering the right foot back down to the mat. Just continue to slide the left leg over so you're fully crossing the left leg over the right. Extend the arms out into a T shape and roll both knees over to the right. Bring your gaze towards the left palm. So moving into a nice spinal twist. Just allowing gravity to do all of the work. If you feel more comfortable to rest your right hand on top of the left thigh, then you can do so, otherwise keeping the arms extended. And to protect the lower back, bringing the knees up towards the chest before rolling through centre. Bring the right foot back down to the mat, uncross the legs and cross them in the opposite direction. Ease both knees to the left and bring your gaze towards the right palm. Really breathing into the whole length of the spine. Visualise your breath travelling all the way down to the tailbone and spiralling all the way up and out of the crown of the head. Once again, knees up towards the chest, roll through centre and uncrossing the legs. If you have any issues with your back or your neck, or it is a very early morning practice, you might just want to roll to the right hand side. Otherwise, you can start to rock and roll along the whole length of the spine and eventually cross the legs in front of the body and roll forwards to find tabletop position or all fours. So stacking the shoulders over the wrists, hips over knees, really gripping the ground with the fingertips, engaging hasta bandha, those imaginary suction cups in the palms of the hands to draw energy up through the palms. So now lifting the right knee away from the mat, but keeping the right knee bent, start to draw a forward circle with the right knee, keeping the knee at about 90 degrees and keeping the foot flexed, starting to warm into the hips. And then pausing, changing direction, drawing circles in a backwards motion. Stay with the breath. And on the next circle, extend that right leg back so it's parallel with the ground, keeping the foot flexed. As you exhale, draw knee to nose underneath the body. And inhale to re-extend, flexing the foot, press back through the heel. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale to open out. And one more time. Exhale to curl. Inhale to extend. And then sweeping that right leg out to the side and plant the sole of the foot down in line with the left knee. Just going to turn this way so you can see more clearly. Bring the hands to the hips and inhale to a more upright position. Inhale the left arm up, and as you exhale, take a lean to the right. So make sure that your hand is either on your hip, on your thigh bone, or possibly on the calf without putting pressure on the outside edge of the knee joint. Inhale to come up through centre. Exhale that left hand down so it's also in line with the left knee and the right foot. Option to float the right leg away from the ground at this point. And final option to extend the right arm up, taking your gaze up towards the right thumb. Slow, steady breath, easy rise and gentle fall of the breath. And exhale to bring the hand back to the hip and lowering the right leg. And just slightly sweeping the left ankle forward so that you can sit the sit bones down. And so that the left sole of the foot is in contact with the right inner thigh. Bringing the left hand slightly behind your hip, planting the palm down to the mat. And on the next inhalation, lift the hips, reach the right hand up and back. Exhale to lower the hips down and sweep the left hand across the top of the right toes. Inhale to lift and extend. Exhale to lower and sweep. One more time. Inhale to lift and extend. And exhale to lower and sweep. So from here, we can now cross the legs again in front of the body, roll back forwards into tabletop position, and just hooking the right toes underneath, slide the right toes towards the back of the mat, really press back through the heel, press firmly into the palms, and see if you can float that left knee away from the mat underneath the body. So stretching deeply into the right calf and the right ankle. Then lower the left knee down, return the right knee to the mat, and hook the left toes under, and start to draw circles in a forwards motion now with the left knee. Pausing and changing directions, drawing circles in a backwards motion. And on the next circle, extending that left leg back, pressing back through the heel. Exhale, knee to nose underneath the body. Inhale to re-extend, press back through the heel. Lift the navel to the spine. Exhale to curl. Inhale to extend. One more time. Exhale to curl. Inhale to extend. Now sweeping this left leg out to the side, planting the sole of the foot down in line with the right knee. Inhale to come up. Exhale to soften the shoulders. Inhale to lift the right arm up. Exhale, leaning to the left. Pausing here for a moment, breathing deeply into the right hand side of the body. Inhale to come up. Exhale, planting the right hand down in line with the right knee and the left foot. Option to pause here, you can press the hips forwards. Otherwise, option to float the left foot away from the ground and possibly extend the left arm up to the sky, bringing the gaze up to the left thumb. Staying with the breath. Exhale to lower the left arm and left leg, and then bring the sit bones down to the mat. So the sole of the right foot connects to the left inner thigh. Bringing the right hand slightly behind the right hip, planting the palm. Inhale to open and expand, lifting the hips. Exhale to lower, sweep the right hand across the top of the left toes. Inhale to open and extend. Exhale to sweep. And the beauty of these flows is you can take them as deeply or gently as you feel to. If it's a morning flow, you might be a bit more gentle with the body. Sweeping again. And then once again, crossing the legs in front of the body, rolling forwards to find tabletop position. This time tucking the left toes underneath, slide the left toes towards the back of the mat, press firmly into the palms, doming in the upper back, press back through the left heel and see if you can float the right knee away from the mat. Exhale to lower the right knee back down and the left knee joins it. Then just stepping the hands forwards, maybe just a hand's distance. Inhale to glide forward so the shoulders are stacked over the wrists. Come a little bit more central. And so that there's a straight diagonal line from your knees to the crown of your head. So it's a variation of full plank pose where the straight diagonal line would be from the heels. This time it comes from the knees to the crown of the head. Check that your inner elbows are really facing forwards. So we have this ability to rotate without moving the palms. You want to rotate the inner elbows to point forwards so that as the elbows bend, they have no choice but to move backwards.
If the inner elbows face each other and we bend, the elbows move out to the sides, which we don't want. So inner elbows forwards, exhale to lower, a variation of chaturanga, shoulders move towards the back of the mat. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, sit the hips to the heels, forehead to the mat. Inhale to glide forwards. Exhale to lower, elbows skimming the ribs. Inhale up. Exhale to move back. One variation in this flow that you can take is to tuck the toes underneath, so that after you exhale, variation of chaturanga, you can inhale the arms straight, and as you exhale back to child's pose, you can float the knees. Inhale, knees down. Exhale to lower. Inhale, arms straight. And exhale to move back. Returning to tabletop position now. So we're going to cross the legs and come into a seated position. So without even standing up, without getting onto our feet, all of the areas of the body have been nicely warmed. You should have loosened into the neck and the shoulders, the hips, all the way through to the legs and the ankles. So there's two options to finish off today's practice. If it is first thing in the morning, if you're still feeling a little bit tender, we're going to come into a gentle inversion, which just involves bringing the legs up the wall. So coming as close to the wall as you can, sweeping the legs up, shuffle yourself forward so that your sit bones are in contact with the wall, and the hands can just lay on the belly or come out to the sides. So this first option, you get a lot of the benefits of a full inversion. So you're still helping the lymphatic system, you're draining all the lymphatic fluids. It helps to detoxify the body, helps to rejuvenate, helps to bring energy to the body. So this is one option. If now you're a little bit warm and you've brought movement into the body, you're feeling a little bit more energized, I'm going to talk you step by step through coming into a headstand. As I say, all the inversions have incredible health benefits. They stimulate all of the glands, they stimulate the pituitary, the pineal, the thyroid, the hypothalamus, so all bringing energy into the body, creating energy to move us through the day. So the way that I teach headstand is actually never to do it against a wall. You can often just create a reliance on the wall, that the wall is going to be there to catch you. So doing it this way in the middle of the room, make sure that we're really safe and strong and stable in each step before you take the next step. So be measuring the distance between the elbows by holding opposite forearms, bringing them down to the mat, then pivoting on the elbows and interlacing the fingers. Bring the crown of the head down into the cradle you've created with the hands, and then hooking all 10 toes underneath, starting to straighten the legs and lift the hips. So this might be enough for you today. We're still bringing the hips higher than the heart, we're still creating an inversion, and listen to the body. Don't push, don't cause tension, don't cause struggle. So if this is where you want to pause, then pause here. If you'd like to take it a little further, really activate the shoulders by pressing into the elbows. Start to walk the feet a little closer, bringing the hips more in line with the crown of the head. And then just experiment by lifting one foot, seeing if you can just float the other foot away from the ground. Bring it down, possibly change sides. See if you can float that foot away from the ground. If you feel comfortable and stable, bringing the legs into a tuck position. And again, if you feel comfortable, then extending the legs. Coming down in reverse. And always coming into child's pose, just to re-regulate the blood pressure and the breath, taking a few cycles of breath here with the forehead resting against the mat. Full deep cycles of breath, and then slowly curling up to sit. And once again, releasing any tension in the neck or the shoulders by rolling the shoulders up, back and down. And then just sweeping the ankles forwards, bringing your bottom into the centre of the mat, extend the heels to the far corners and lowering yourself down. Arms are beside the body but not touching the body, with the palms facing up. Letting go of any ujjayi breath, any breathing techniques you might have been using to support your practice. Returning to completely natural breath. Breathing in a sense of positivity, exhaling any negativity or doubt or fear. Feeling a connection between your inner space and the vast, limitless outer space. And staying in Shavasana for as long as your body requires. Otherwise, bringing the knees into the chest, giving yourself a squeeze, maybe rocking from side to side. Just noticing at the end of your practice, is there any part of the body that still feels like it needs attention, like you need to bring your awareness to any particular part and doing any extra stretches to gently open the body. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that this encourages you to get over these possible winter blues and get you onto the mat and help you to start to warm and open the body. And I will see you next time. Thank you very much. Namaste.